and today I'm going to teach History and Government, Form 4, World Governments, and mostly today I'm going to talk about United States of America, USA. We are going to check the background and the nature of the United States of America government. We are going to check the executive, the judiciary, and also the legislature or the House of Congress. And then out of that place, I'm going to give you key principles of the US government and also give you exam style questions or questions which may come from this particular subtopic. And so I'm going to start with the part number 1, background and nature of the USA government. USA government became independent in the year 1776 after breaking away from the Britain. So it was initially part of the Britain. So in 1787, the founding fathers wrote the Constitution, which took effect in 1789. So the Constitution of the United States of America was written by the founding fathers in the year 1787, and it was brought to an effect in the year 1789. And it is the oldest written constitution still in use in the world. So this constitution is still in use, and it is the oldest written constitution in the world. USA is a federal presidential democracy, and when we say it's a federal presidential democracy, there are two terms which you should be able to define, and one being federal and the other presidential. Federal is power. It's where power is shared between the central or the federal government and 50 state governments. Okay, so in USA, the power is shared between the central or the federal government, headed by the head of state, which is the president, and 50 state governments, which are headed by the governors. The other term is presidential. And presidential, the president is both head of state and head of government, unlike parliamentary systems where the role is split. In parliamentary system, the powers are divided between the president and the prime minister. And in presidential system, the president is the head of state, while the prime minister is the head of government. But unlike in USA, in the United States, president is both the head of state and the head of government at the same particular time, at the same time. The system is built on separation of powers. And from that separation of powers, we have the executive, the legislature, the judiciary, which are distinct and independent. So these are independent bodies or independent arms of government. And maybe to start with the executive, because it is a head, it's where the president is. And in the executive, we have the president. Okay, we have the cabinet. Sawa sawa. We have the president and the cabinet in the executive arm of government. And here, so let's start with the president. President is elected every 4 years through an electoral college system. It must be a neutral born US citizen, at least 35 years of age, and it is limited to 2 terms only, which are 8 years maximum. Okay, So it is limited into 2 terms, only 8 years maximum. Sorry. And so we have the powers and functions of the president. The president will say the president is the head of government and the head of state. And at the same time is the head or the commander-in-chief of the United States of America Armed Forces or the Defense Forces, whatever. So the powers of the and functions of the president are one. Number one, he is the head of state. He or she is the head of state. And so he or she the president represents the unity of the nation. The head of state, the president represents the unity of the nation. Number two, he is the head of government, directs national policy, and oversees federal administration. So he is the head of government, whereby it is the work of the president to direct national policy. He assigns the bills and oversees federal administration. Number three, president is the commander-in-chief. He controls the armed forces. Number four, chief diplomat. President conducts foreign relations, signs treaties with Senate approval. Sawa. So, president is the chief diplomat who signs treaties, who conducts foreign relations, and we have said that he signs treaties only with the approval of Senate. So without the approval of Senate, he cannot sign any treaties. Okay? And that's where we say that it's the check of powers and balance, the balances of the powers, balances and checks of the powers. Number five, we have legislative role. He or she signs bills into law or veto them. So he can sign the bills or veto them. He can decline to sign them. It is upon his mandate. And it is a constitutional power given to the president. And number six, appointments. President appoints cabinet members or cabinet secretaries or the ministers, ambassadors, federal judges, and Supreme Court justices. And by all that, Senate must approve them, or Senate must confirm it. It's just like vetting. The members appointed by the president must pass the vetting by the Senate House. And lastly, emergency powers. The president may declare state of emergencies, maybe in times of wars, in times of calamities, maybe when there are disasters, the president may declare a state of emergency, and that is within his power of jurisdiction. Number two, of the composition of the executive, we have the cabinet. It is composed of heads of federal departments, e.g., Secretary of the State and Secretary of Defense, Secretary of Education, etc. Advises the president and runs specific government functions, each docket. So they run specific government dockets, like the docket of defense, education, state, yes, and members are appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate. So president appoints the cabinet and they are vetted by the Senate. Number C, part C, we have the legislature of the Congress. Known as, it is not, the legislature is known as Congress. It is a bicameral house, or it is a two house. So when we say it's a bicameral, we say that the Congress or the legislature is divided into two houses, the Senate and the House of Representatives. Number one, the Senate, 100 senators, 2 from each state. So they are 100, 2 from each state. They serve 6-year terms, elected every, oh, they serve 6-year terms. The powers of the Senate are: approves presidential appointments, such as judges, ministers, and ambassadors; ratifies treaties. Okay, they approves the treaties signed by the president; acts as a court during impeachment trials, maybe at the time of impeachment of ministers, impeachment of the president or the deputy president. Senate acts as a court during the impeachment of such national political figures. We have the number 2, the House of Representatives. They are 4 that 5 members, seats distributed according to state population. They serve 2-year terms, and powers the powers of the House of Representatives include initiates money bills such as taxation on the budgets, the fiscal year budgets. It's the work of the House of the Representatives to initiate that. They can impeach the president and other federal officials, such as the ministers and also the deputy president. Functions of the Congress, both houses together, they include lawmaking. It is the work of Senate and the House of Representatives to make laws and amend them. Number 2, checking the executive. It is the work of the judiciary arm of government or the part of government to ensure or to check the excesses of the executive, to ensure that the executive does not use its powers the way they shouldn't be. And another one, we have approving national budget. It is the work of the 2 houses to approve. And another one is declaring war. It is the work of these 2 houses to approve and declare wars. Number part D, the judiciary. It is independent of both the executive and legislature. It is headed by the Supreme Court, which is the highest court in the land or the USA. And Supreme Court justices are appointed by the president with Senate approval and serve for life. So if you are appointed as a judge, you serve for your life, for whole life, maybe till your death or your resignation. Functions of the judiciary. There are various functions of the judiciary, but I'm going to discuss about 4. One is interpreting the constitution and laws. The interpretation of constitution and laws. Number 2, exercises judicial review. They can declare laws or executive actions unconstitutional because it is an independent body which cannot be interfered by the judiciary, by the executive or the House of Congress. And another one is protects the rights and freedoms of citizens. Well, that is Bill of Rights. They protect the Bill of Rights, and that is protecting the rights and freedoms of the United States of America citizens. And the last one settles disputes between the federal government and the state. So they settle disputes between the local government and the state government, the state. Key principles of the US government. 1, federalism. This is division of power between national and state government, national and state governments. Number 2, separation of powers. Executive, legislature, judiciary operate each independently. of each other. Number three, checks and balances. Each arm of government limits the powers of the other. That's so interesting. For example, president can veto laws, so he can fail the laws which are made by the House of Congress, either the Senate or the House of Representatives. Bill of Rights. First 10 amendments to the Constitution guarantee freedoms of speech, press, religion, fair trial, among others. And the last one is two-party system, dominated by Democrats and Republicans, although other parties exist. So these two parties are the ones which are dominant, though there are other parties which exist in USA. So I'm going to give you work to look for yourself the strength and the weaknesses of the US government. And directly I'm going to issue some questions here for you to understand them. Maybe question number one. These are short questions. Maybe you can find them under section B or C, part A. So state the three qualifications required for a person to be elected president in the USA. You have said he or she must be a born citizen of the USA. Another one must be 35 years of age. Another one, which, let me check. Which other point is it? 35 years of age, we'll say that. And a natural born US citizen. Question number two. List four powers of the US Senate. You can look or check that particular question. Identify two similarities between the US and Kenyan governments. Similarities. They both have two houses of the legislature, maybe. They are two, but names differ. Maybe the parliament, the House of Representatives, but Senate is similar. And I have further questions. Explain 5 functions of the US president. That is 10 marks. Functions of the US president. And these questions are found section B, C, mostly C. Yeah, C. Is it C or B? Yeah, C. Part B. C, part B, not A. So you have to discuss 5 functions of the US president. Another one, discuss 6 roles of the US Congress. When you are told US Congress, it is the Senate, the composition of the Senate and the Senate. Another one, highlight 5 features of the US Constitution. Features of the US Constitution. Bill of Rights, separation of powers. What are the key evident features in the US Constitution? You have to research about that. And I can give you essay questions, but these ones are for your own understanding. One, the US government is based on separation of powers. Discuss. This is just for general knowledge for you for understanding this particular topic. The US government is based on separation of powers. Discuss. The other one is compare the functions of the executive in the USA and in Kenya. And this will fully help you to know the key differences or the comparatives and similarities of the two governments, the Kenya and the United States of America governments. And by that, I think you guys will be sorted. Next time I'll come up with the government of India or the United Kingdom, but mostly I'll come up with the government of United Kingdom. Then the next day I'll teach the government of India, I'm just helping you guys to realize your potential in history. Okay, and by that I just wish that I pray that you subscribe, you share the video, you comment, and you share the information to other candidates or the individuals who can come up and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Sam Tutors KE. You can find me on TikTok, Sam Tutors KE, and similar. I have a group on Facebook. You can follow me or join the group. You can join the group, Sam Tutors KE. Okay, Sam Tutors Kenya KE. Not don't write fully Kenya, but KE, and you will get me there. And you can bless me with a follow or subscription, share, like, and comment.